first I'm going to briefly and very fast introduce myself and my team. So we are Team Rosophia 21455. Last year we've managed to. This is our third NFTC. Into the Deep is the third season, and we've last year we've had our biggest achievement in that we managed to qualify for the Worlds, where we actually won Think Award 2. However, um one big and very important part of our journey is in the background and is behind the scenes. What do I mean by that? Of course, when you're competing against the team and along with the team, you obviously see the robots, see their strategy, maybe even see their autonomous period, and they are very, very important, that technical part. But that technical part is enabled by the background, by the backstage of a team. What does and by backstage I mean the PR department, and because everything runs on money. So you need the money to build your robot. You need the money to have the chance to test, because a huge part of a team is of robots, and a huge part of making a robot better is actually having the prototypes to see what works and what doesn't. And you need to have the funds in order to do that freely. So your only constraint is just your mind and your creativity. You do not have other constraints. Therefore, this is why we wanted to talk about obtaining sponsorships. And I am right now the representative of the PR department at Team Rosophia. So I occupy my time a lot with trying to fund together and obtain sponsorships. First, I'm going to talk about the actually obtaining part, and only after that, I'm going to talk about what you do with those, what you have once you get it. So first, I want to address the issue of old sponsors and new sponsors. Obviously, you always want to talk with more people to get as many people on board as possible, so you have your sources of income from many different parts. However, you need your base, your foundation is always going to be those old sponsors that have trusted you last year, 2 years ago, and have seen your journey, have seen you evolve, and those are the most likely to help you this year as well. Actually, a big part of our budget right now is from trying to reconnect with the sponsors that helped us last year, and get them on board to help us again, because it's easier and more efficient to talk with them as they already know who you are, what your results are. They already know your phone number, your email. You aren't someone new, and they know that they can trust you. However, you also need new sponsors. Sometimes maybe there are two parts of that. In that you want to get a bigger budget every season, and also in order to enable you to have a better robot, to do more outreach activities, to do different, to maybe even support other teams. So to do that, you need to expand your portfolio. You need to gather more sponsors. And I'm going to now focus on how you usually do that. You need to try to find them close to your home. If I'm, from example, I'm living in the southeastern of Romania, and if I want to get a company to help me, if I want to get a business to help me with maybe some funding, I cannot call a company that is on the other side of the globe. Obviously, they'll just ask, why do you call us? Why you are irrelevant to us? However, if you when you are trying to get new sponsorships, it's best to try to seek help from those that are close to your home, because it matters to pitch to them the fact that, hey, we are your neighbors, we are your community. Moreover, we help your community develop, we help our community bring further on. And maybe it was actually in our case many times, especially with bigger sponsors, we teach children STEM related, how to think in a STEM related way, and those children will grow up to maybe even work for some of your current sponsors. So you always need to try to find those angles that will explain to your potential helpers why you are actually helping them as well, how you are what do they get from this collaboration. And it's way easier to do that with those that might even know you from local newspapers, or might understand that you are a child from the local school that they actually went to. You need to be relatable, you need to find your relation between you and the person that might be willing to help you with funding. There is that saying that between every two people, there you can have you can have six, at most six connections, and we want to lower that number of connections that needs to be made between you and your potential helper. So this is why we and I obviously always encourage teams and always encourage new recruits that want to be part of the PR department. Okay, let's look for companies, let's look for businesses that that we know, that they might actually know us, because it's way easier for you to pitch to them. So okay, we have gathered a list of which businesses we want to approach, which companies we know of and we might want to approach. How do we do that? Well, first you need to obviously make the first step. No one will come to you and offer you money just for nothing. You need to make the first step to reach out to them and to show them that you are actually interested in them and you want their help. This is why I'm saying nothing. If you do something, it's always better than nothing. However, what is the most optimal and efficient way? Well, you could send emails. However, there is an issue with emails. Sure, they are quite easy to be made. You can just write something in Word and have that be sent to 100 emails. But it's very, very easy to be lost in spam, or to be lost in the spam folder, or to be just to have your email deleted. Moreover, when you're sending an email, someone might read it or might not read it. It's very, very difficult to make an email pop out and be actually very engaging. You always need to have that hook. That hook works and doesn't, so it's quite difficult. Another issue I have with emails, they are good, by the way, but they are quite unoptimal, is the fact that emails can be easily ignored. Even if you read to them, if you read through your email, it's easy for a person to just ignore them. If it's slightly inconvenient for them to help you, it's quite inconvenient for them to complete some paperwork to send to you, or to just reply to your email. So that person will always choose the easier path, which is just to ignore and move on with their life. They don't. they will just think, okay, someone else will help them, no problem. They do not have a choice to make. However, the best thing, or almost the best thing you can do when trying to gather uh, to get a new sponsor, is to actually make that phone call. Sure, you will not always have success, and also at first, especially if you're shy, for example, and anxious. And to be honest, I was very anxious at the beginning, and I didn't think that I had it in me to make those phone calls. But making that phone call, you might not be you might get a no, or you might get a yes, but you're getting an answer. It's way harder for that person that answers that phone uh, to just ignore you. So they need to give a definite yes or no answer, and it's way more morally difficult for a person to say no rather than just to ignore. Think, for example, how many times uh, you have you have been left in a scene when talking to a person, when asking a difficult question. It's way easier just to be to ignore a question, to ignore something, than to take a stand, a decisive stand on whether yes or no. And making that person make a decision, it just gets you just a little bit farther, and it gets better results. However, when making a phone call, you might be to a company. It is highly probable that the person answering that phone call is probably a secretary, or a person on the lower side of the corporation ladder. What does that mean is that that person will probably not be able to give you a definite answer on whether yes or no, and is not does not have the power to allocate the company's funds in your direction. So when making a phone call, try to always get to talk with the person in charge, at least on that level. Uh, at least then you are talking with someone that knows whether or not they can do that, and actually knows what to do. Okay, what knows how much they can give, for example. Many times, for example, a secretary will just think you're just a spam caller, or will just think that uh, their company is perhaps not interested in that. But they do not have they don't actually have that, excuse my slightly broken English. They don't actually have that saying power. So try to get to talk with this with a director, with a person that knows what they're doing. You can just ask, "Hi, can we talk with the director in your department?" or stuff like that. Usually, when you are finding on the website, on the company's website, the phone number, it's highly likely that it's just a support, a number towards, for example, a contact for support. So you need to get to that department, to at least be redirected to the department that can actually make that call on whether yes or no they can help you. Okay, so we've made that call, and we've gotten across our points, and we've talked about our team, what they are doing. Um, always try to get a meeting in person. Usually people that just hear you on the phone will not believe you entirely, or will think that, okay, maybe they are doing something, but it's not that interesting. They don't see the full picture. If you're try to set up a second meeting in person, you go to visit them, especially if they are from around your region. And once they see your robot, the fact that you've actually built, maybe you can bring even a couple trophies to show your results from behind. They see the fact that, okay, you maybe have a team kit, some t-shirts that are matching. They see that you are meaning business in what you're doing. You're telling the truth, the fact that you want to perform, you want to excel in FTC. And once you are able to get into person, they will the people in charge usually allocate you more time. Usually on a phone call you can get at max 5 minutes. When you get manage to get in person, you might even bring a field. You make a demonstration, a small demonstration, how the robot moves, how the robot works. You get more time to show your project, to show what you're doing, to show the fact that you're caring, and to show the fact that you have the potential to excel, and to show the fact that you are worth it. You are worth their time, you're worth their money. And that, I think, matters quite a lot, and in order to get what you want. All right. One thing that I forgot to talk about on how to different types of how to decide, usually how to decide which company to address, and I think I forgot to put into my slide, but I remember now. Try to look for those companies that are neither way too big, but but are not also just one small shop. Try to look at middle-sized companies. Maybe try to go for the bigger side, but middle-sized companies that have a base in your home. For example, for a lot of international teams, it's a bit more different for US teams, but for a lot of international teams, they do not maybe have the biggest companies in their hometown and in the region. So, for example, I cannot go for Amazon or for Apple to try to send them a message or try to call them, because no one is going to answer me. We are too small as a team for that big of a company. However, if you are trying to go for a big-ish company from your hometown, that home city, that is actually based in your city, that grew in your city, and is actually connected to your community, is way more likely for you to find success. For example, don't go to the local Walmart, or don't go to the local Aldi or whatever shop you have, because it's just a franchise, and they don't actually that store doesn't actually have that much power to decide whether or not they can help you. Okay, as a whole, Kaufland or whatever, or Walmart is very big, but again, it's that it's way they are way too big to help you. All right, so sorry. Using the sponsorships, now that we've managed to gather the sponsors, to gather the funding, we need to actually use them. So how do we go about that? Well, first, obviously, you need to make a plan of attack to how do you want to use your sponsorships. You obviously need to keep track very well on what you are using money, on what you're spending money, and how much money you have to spend. Moreover, you need to set yourself certain guidelines on what you want your destination for your money to be. You want about 30% to go towards your outreach. You want to have the rest of your money go towards a robot. For example, what I suggest is that you allocate your robots to, if you have the funds, you should allocate about 5 to 6K of your budget, the $6K of your budget, towards your robot, in case something fails, in case something goes right. Usually 5 to 6K is quite the sweet spot, and beyond that you get diminishing returns on how much you want to spend on your robot with how much it's actually worth for your team. Because the 5 to 6K dollars give you gives you the leeway to actually make a strong robot and have some money also for creating some tests and creating some prototypes. But going beyond that usually doesn't really pay off that much. If you spend more than 5 to 6K, you either have a very big budget, or you to spend, or you just allocated wrongly on what you want to spend. Um, those are, I think, my main suggestions on how to actually go about spending your money. You always need to make sure that you also have a little bit of um, deposits behind you. So you need some funds that you can fall back on. So in case something is wrong and you need to buy that extra motor or that extra thing, you need to have that safeguard that you can use. Now, I want to ask if there are any questions. Wait, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What key elements do you include in your sponsorship proposals?
Yes, that is a great question. So when you're going to a company to get them to help you, you obviously need to make a small presentation of your team and your activities. So for example, my team, hello, you present. I present my team, Rosophia, what we have done in the past. So you need to show the past, the present, what we are doing right now, and the future, what we wish to do further down the line, and what we want to achieve, what our goals are further down the line. Moreover, you need to make your presentation very graphic and interactive. If you manage to make it interactive, that's perfect. What I mean by graphic, include pictures, include nice presentations, include maybe make the presentation as colorful and as eye-catching as possible. This way, if you're just sitting over there reading from a piece of paper and talking very fast and just showing a big piece of a big block of text, you're not it's not catchy. They will just think that you just wrote that on ChatGPT, or you they will just forget all the information that you tell them. But if you make the presentation catchy, if you actually show them your robot, if you actually show them the field, you show them what you're doing, you say the fact that after all, FTC is the biggest um, robotics competition for high schoolers in the world. You show the fact that you mean business, and the fact that you are worth their time, and it that is something that your project is something that is worth to be invested in.
Thank you.
I also have a question. Have you ever organized any events or activities to help you raise funds for your team?
Yes, so that kind of depends, because you obviously need, in order to fundraise properly, you you need to participate in those events that more companies and more important companies take part in. Um, for example, we participated in a conference organized by the biggest businesses in our local area, and then we showed our project, and we managed from that conference to to get at least, I think, 3 or 4 new sponsors. And if you manage to find to hear about those public meetings, those meetings that include important people and people that make decisions in your area, is easier for you to gather funding. And another thing is, once you manage to get 1 or 2 more important sponsors, it's easier down the line to find more and more sponsors, because you're trying to build your network, your network of potential sponsors and potential directors. Usually the heads of the companies know each other, and they are in the same circle. So once you find an opening in one company, that if the director really likes you and really likes your project, they sometimes even talk about you to some of their friends, which happen usually to be CEOs of other or in high positions in other companies.
Thank you so much for your answer.
I have one last question for you. Can you maybe share some tips for maintaining strong relationships with sponsors over the time?
Yes. So that is, as I've mentioned in my presentation, the old sponsors are a very, very big part of a team. They are the finances of a team. They are the basis of the finances of a team. What does that mean is that you want to keep them as happy as possible, and how you do that is you always need to try to keep in touch with them. Whenever you have a big achievement, you might actually try to get a new meeting with them and show them, okay, this is what we've done, maybe we can help us further on, and stuff like that. And you need to usually, for example, when you're posting on Instagram, many teams, or I think most of the teams, have Instagram pages. Try to include at least your main sponsors, if not all of your sponsors. Try to make the sponsors feel important. They want to feel part. They want to feel good. They want to feel that they helped, that they are important, and they helped, and without them, you couldn't have done it. So if you're showing the fact that of how important they were to you, that they were, if they were a must in your journey, you can bring them along and make them more of a part of your team.